And that's the way it, it was a very disciplined family. Never any beatings. Never got that. You were when you were told to do something, you did it. Maybe you weren't happy about, but you did it. I got home from uh, school, and my dad said, "Rich, go out and shovel the walk." I didn't say I'll get around to it. I got my little dupe out there and shoveled the walk. See, and then Milt Simmons would come along and shovel the walks that weren't shoveled.
So, from a personality standpoint, was your personality more a makeup of your mother or your father or both?
Well, probably I don't know. Maybe my or my father. He would only. I was the only one. If he was doing anything, Rich come out with me. He would never take John and Paul. It was always me. So John told me later, you didn't know it, but you were his pet. Yeah, but I said I had to do all the work. I said. So John would laugh about that. But John was great for. He loved the farm and horses. And I mean, if you ever asked a kid to do today, but he would go out to the McCormicks, who lived in North Java. They had a big farm. He would go out there like a hired man. He'd be like a sophomore in high school, 15. Get up at 5:30 in the morning, and that's the way they treated him. They were a distant relative, but they treated him just like a hired man. And they would go down, have a light breakfast, and then right out and milk the cows, all hand milk. And they had a pretty good herd. Then they'd get that done. They get some chores, and then they'd come in for the real meal. Oh, big breakfast, John used to say. This is McCormick who put a meal in. And anyway, he loved that, and that's how he come attracted to horses. Love it. And if you could ask any of John's kids, anytime they were taking a drive in the country somewhere, and they saw a big farm, John would pull right in the driveway. What are you doing, Dad? I want to go in and talk to this guy. He'd talk to him about how many acres you have. He loved all that. So anyway.
Well, so that's interesting. So, do you think that if you were to look back in hindsight and say that both your mother and father treated you kind of special? Not to say that.
Oh no, no, I don't think I did. I was probably the biggest thorn in the side of all of them for crazy thing. I mean, falling out of a tree and building a gig, and I mean, John and Paul, they never did any of that. And I was, of course, getting banged up, and then when I was, then I had the bad incident that I was working at Curtis Wright, and I went out with this. Was I going with Betty then? Yeah, I was going with Betty, but she was out in the country somewhere. And I went with this Billy Carroll one night. Oh, I was 18, and we went into this. Sometime I'll show you this place. It was like a speakeasy, but it was legal. Guy was a cop. He and the father were both policemen in Lackawanna. And it was on Relish Avenue. And they had an outside entrance to go down into the basement. They had it all fixed up. In fact, Betty and I used to go there when we were going together. But Betty was out at Pete Winter's farm. So I'm with Billy, we're in there, and I'm supposed to go to work at 1 o'clock in the morning. I get half snookered. First time in my life. I'm 18 years old. And, I remember looking at my watch. I said, I didn't feel good. So I got to get all the way down to Sherwood Avenue. It's about 1.25 miles away. And I'm going to be picked up they picked me up about midnight. And it's about 11 o'clock at night. So I make my way down Rosary Avenue, down McKinley, and I got up the steps, and we had a swing on the front porch. I just made it to the swing, and I just conked out on the swing. and the house was no lights on in the house. My mother and father must have been in bed. See, I think, holy smoke. Well, and the next thing I know, Franny Ford and Gene Ruffing, they're the ones I used to ride with. I heard their voices. I heard Gene Ruffing saying, "I don't see him, Franny." And I kind of lifted my head up. I looked in between the spokes of the raven. He mustn't be home. I couldn't even holler to him. And I conked out. And the next thing I know, this guy is shaking me. Margaret Mary had gone out on a date with some other guy. This was before Cottrell and Duke. And he said, Margaret Mary said, "Oh my God." And she said, "You better get him. How the hell did this guy? I don't even know if this guy had a car." But anyway, he got me down to the local restaurant. He's pouring the coffee into me, and he's shaking me, But I said, "Yeah, I'm okay." So anyway, I take off, go back down Choate, and I go, "Oh, brother, I'm in deep trouble now." So I got to Choate and Ithaca. There's a street that cuts through. And who's standing there waiting for my brother John? Even John got up. Now it's about 1:30 in the morning. So John says, "Are you in deep trouble?" He says, "You'd rather be facing Joe Louis right now than Dad." Oh, I can remember him saying that. It'd rather be Joe Louis than Louis was the king. So, oh man, so I walked 4 doors down. I start going up the front steps. Front of the house is in darkness. I don't see any lights. Well, as you came to the front door, it stood out, and there was a cutout, recess, and then was the front window, and your porch was there. My dad was hiding in the recess. And I come up, and I got to the top step, took one step, and he come out right here in the jaw. And he drove me right up, and we had awnings, side awnings, and then beautiful awnings. I remember I slammed into that. I shook my head, and I grabbed the door, and he's right after me. And I threw the house into the bedroom, and I shut the door, and I thought, what the hell? Finally, I opened the door up, and he stood there, and I said, I said something, I don't know, take another shot or something at me, I said, "I'm going to the Navy." Remember I said that. I'm joining the Navy. See, I was into that horrible age. When a guy gets to be 18, 19, you can't tell him anything.
No.
They know everything. So, and then he quit. When I said that, he just turned around and walked away. So, well, that was till summer of 42. Well, I didn't go into service until March 1st, 1943. But I got into smoking. All these guys in the carpool, if they all smoke. Matter, kid, don't you smoke? No. Man, try one. I said, I don't want one. John never smoked. Paul never smoked. Margaret Mary never smoked. See, that's where I was the maverick. I was doing everything different, see. And finally they caught me. They caught me with the cigarettes. What was I smoking? Old Golds or something? I don't know. And I was in trouble there. And my dad was death on drink. Ooh, he'd seen enough guys. He had a bottle of whiskey in the cupboard in the kitchen. Medicinal purposes. That bottle, you could look at it a month later, maybe a little bit out. If he felt the cold come on, he'd take a snort. That's all. Never drank. And my mother was death against drink. So anyway, trying to think, maybe some other interesting things that.
Well, so then, here, let me